if you happen to have charcoal, I would try to use it for this. If you don't have charcoal, use pencil, okay? I have all this stuff right here. We're going to do this together, and I'm first going to start by drawing out the drapery on this page. This is, again, page 38. Okay, so follow along with me, especially if you don't know how to draw. Okay, I have a reference image right here, but I'm going to be referring to this, but it's also on the screen for you to look at as well. And our first approach to drawing this is to start with a gesture. Okay, so a very light sketch, and I'm not too worried about proportions on this. So if you draw too big, it's okay. Okay, but it's going to be fairly small because it's on a small paper. So I basically am just going to be starting off by drawing myself some lines. This is actually the first time I've ever drawn this, so we'll see how I do. Okay, so just like what we did for the Wyland project, just looking at what you are drawing and following it with your eyes, okay? And everything is just a line, okay? And seeing where things connect. Whoop. Okay, and also drawing guideline marks, okay? So like these little prongy things, they are lined up together. Now, the nice thing about drawing drapery is that if you accidentally put a line in the wrong place, it's still going to look like drapery as long as you get the folds. And I can also adjust as I go. So what I'm doing is right now I'm just creating a gesture. Is this correct? I have no idea. I like to think it is, but I have no idea because I'm just eyeballing it. And I like to draw big, so I'm struggling really hard to draw small here. That's the problem with this next project is that we're drawing small, and I like to draw big. So anytime there is a fold, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line for it. I am mapping out where things go. Okay, I don't know what I did here. I don't know what I did here, so I'm going to mess this up right now. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, that's the fold. This needs to come down and over. Okay. Okay, if you message me, I'll look at it in just a minute, you guys. I can't multitask all the time. I try to, but it doesn't work. Okay, I definitely need to take this down longer, so I'm going to erase that. Okay, so don't be afraid to go back and revise your drawing, okay? And draw lightly and loosely, okay? This is all like kind of a review, but also, you guys, the more practice, the better you get at it, okay? Remember, we have to learn how to look and learn to use our right side of the brain, which is a struggle because we are mostly left brain dominant. Okay, so there's my light sketch. Did I get all my folds? No, I didn't. Right there. Okay, and I'm going to go back and adjust as I start to shade, because I'm going to continue to look at what I'm drawing. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. Yes. Okay. While you guys are sketching that out, I'm going to take a minute to read my messages. You can use charcoal for this. I sketch in pencil first just because it's a little bit cleaner. But yes, definitely, if you have the materials, try playing with it. Okay. All right. Any questions so far, you guys? Okay, so let's go ahead and start going in and adding value. Yes, if you don't have charcoal, use pencil, okay? And we did some shading yesterday, so it's gonna be about the same approach. I'm gonna use charcoal. I have a charcoal pencil, a very small one. I might switch to a larger one if I can find one. I like to use, you can use a Q-tip if you want. I usually keep separate blending stumps for charcoal because they get all nasty. So if you have lots of them, I would keep a separate one for charcoal or an old one for charcoal. Otherwise, I wouldn't mess up your nice, clean one that you use for shading, okay? I'd keep them separate, okay? This little nasty thing right here is called a chamois. This is like one of my favorite tools to use. And it's basically covered in charcoal. So also keep in mind, charcoal is very, very messy. So it's going to get all over the place. The nice thing about this chamois, which I like, is that it makes things go so much faster. So this is already covered in charcoal, so I can just like literally use that to get everywhere, okay? It's a little bit harder to work with on a small surface. A lot of students don't like it because look at my hands, it's already dirty. You can also use tissue, okay? And then this right here is called a compressed charcoal. No, you cannot use the charcoal from your barbecue. You can try, but it won't work the same. And this basically does the same thing. It gives you a bigger coverage. And if you like to work with your hands, which I do, if you don't mind getting messy, it just makes life so much easier, okay? Otherwise, I would stick to this. This is the cleanest thing that you have. And I think that if you came to pick up supplies, you did grab one of these. It might have been itty bitty, but that was because I was giving out 200 and something of them. So do the best you can, okay? So looking at the picture, we're gonna go dark, we're gonna go black where it's black, and we're gonna lighten up where it's light. The nice thing about charcoal is that it's easy to erase, okay? So I would start with maybe just getting some values down, okay? However you do so, if you're gonna use a Q-tip and you have one of these things, or even if you have one of these, you can just start by taking a little bit of charcoal and getting your Q-tip dirty, or tissue, like this. See, it's nice and dirty. And now I can actually start by just shading with this and try to keep my values nice and clean. Look how nice that is. Wow, so much faster than with pencil. I love charcoal, but if you don't like getting dirty, you're not gonna like it. That is one reason why, okay? So I am looking at the picture and I'm just placing my values down, okay? And I'm comparing one to another. So first I put down this value and then I'm looking to the left and I'm saying, okay, that left value is a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go ahead and go darker. Now the thing with shading with charcoal is that it's hard to keep your edges clean. So you're gonna have to go in with an eraser and really refine. I wish I was recording this right now. I'm recording on Zoom. I hate those Zoom recordings though. Okay, so I'm going in and I'm adding value and I'm now using my blending stump. You can use a Q-tip, you use your finger, whatever. And right in the beginning, yes, it doesn't look like anything. Why? Because I have black on white paper. I have nothing else going on. So as I start to add values, it's gonna start to come together, okay? And so looking at the photo, going through and adding those values. Okay, and it's just like you can shade with your, just like your pencil too. I'm going in small circles, adding black, and then just to make my life easier, I'm then gonna take my little Q-tip and then blend it in. Okay, and what's nice about this is that I can adjust everything once I get charcoal everywhere. Okay, and then actually this whole side here is all black. So if you have a little chunk, you can do this in pencil too. I'm gonna go ahead and make this all black here. I'm about to get messy here. Do I have a little scrap I can put underneath this? Okay, I like to take my pencil first and get a clean edge. Okay, this whole side here is gonna be totally black. Okay, if you're using charcoal, this is gonna go into your personal sketchbook, okay? So you might wanna overlay a piece of scratch paper on top. One way to keep charcoal from not getting on everything is to spray it with some aerosol hairspray, okay? Now you don't wanna spray it super, like on top of it because you're gonna erase your drawing, but step away, spray it from a distance. Hairspray from an aerosol can works well for preserving your artwork. Okay, so sometimes I switch back and forth through my materials. I just add marks and I blend, make them darker where it's darker. But I'm constantly looking at the photograph. And sometimes, okay, so like this little fold right here, I don't know if you guys know where I'm working right now. This is, I'm working on the right side fold. Wow, it looks better on my computer than in real life. I'm working, where am I working right now? I'm working right here. Okay, so I kind of just went in and added some value, but what's nice about this is then I could take an eraser and I can go back and draw in some of those lighter shapes. I love drawing with my eraser. It makes it so much easier because I'm a very messy artist, if you haven't noticed. Okay, notice how right here, we have lots of cylinders. We have a shadow edge right here. So it's going from dark to light. There's a highlight right there, okay? So we're gonna try to get that. Okay, so I go in and I draw that shadow edge in. And then I like to take everything from there and blend it out. Now my fingers are going to be black all day, but it's okay. Okay, around the drapery is all black. So I'm going to go ahead and get a clean edge here. And actually, I think I need to lift my drapery up. Adjusting my drawing as I go. I'm going to go ahead and take my black ollie over just to give me an edge. Your fingers work great too. This is like the part of the art class where people are like, I hate this. I need to wear a glove. Like this is just messy. And some people who are very tactile that like being dirty, this is like just fun. Also, having something under your wrist so you don't rest your hand on your wrist. The nice thing about charcoal is I can get super, super dark, super quick, okay? I have a fold right here. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a line. Okay, how are we doing? Are you guys using pencil or charcoal, or what are you guys using? You can intermix pencil and charcoal. Some people like us to use charcoal for the really dark areas. Look how much faster this is. It's so amazing. Okay, pencil, pencil, pencil. I have one person using charcoal. Okay, so look, I'm for the middle of this fold, I'm just kind of mark making it with my big old stick of charcoal. You can do the same thing with the pencil. It's the same thing, it's just different form. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend it. Okay, keeping a crisp edge anytime there's a fold. Blend that still too. Okay, so key for this, you guys, don't think so much, okay? Look at what you're drawing and don't think it's complicated drapery. It's just values. And I will tell you, this also always looks better when you stand up and look at it from a distance. When you're right on top of it, you see every little mark made, and sometimes it bothers people. See, I like to put down my darks first, so then I can then move it around. And actually, some of this I can just draw with my fingers. So nice. It really makes a difference once you kind of start getting your background in there. It helps kind of separate some of the things you're drawing. Okay, so remember, with your shading, everywhere we put a line, value creates the edges of forms, okay? So I no longer will have a line. I'm going to put a dark next to a light, okay? In order to separate something, I need to have a contrast, okay? Opposite of two things. I need a dark and a light. Okay, if something seems dark, it's because it's next to something that's light. Okay, if something is light, it's because it's next to something that's dark. Okay, and after a while, I can just use my Q-tip. If those of you using charcoal, I can just use my Q-tip to blend. Miss Debbie, are you going to be around here today? I think we need to start cutting paper for the pop art.
Okay, I'm supposed to go down to see Tony, but I don't think she'll have much for me, so I'll just
okay. If not today, then maybe tomorrow during our prep period.
Okay.
I totally forgot about the paper. Too many things to think about when you're not actually in school. Okay, so each one of these tubey things has like its own shadow edge. It's really cool. I'm actually not hating this, even though this is the first time I'm doing this. Here, I'll show you what I'll do with this chamois or like a dirty tissue. The side of this is not white, so I need to get like a value, but it's not black anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and scuff this with my tissue so I can get an edge to this side of the drawing and then the top of the drawing. Okay, it is messy, but it's super fast. And that kind of helps get rid of some of that white so I can see the values a little bit better too. Okay, and then also actually just doing that, now I'm looking at my white spots, they're like glowing at me. So I can tone it back by adding a little bit here. Areas that are still too light. Okay, you guys, any questions so far? Does anyone want to share what they're doing? Hold it up. Fourth period is always my quietest class. And then, yeah, don't forget to sharpen your pencil. When it gets to a little nub like what I have, it's so much better with a sharpened pencil. Okay, the more you add, the better and better it gets, okay? So you guys see how long this one drawing takes? That's like, you know, you should be spending time on your art. Otherwise, it doesn't turn out, and it's obvious. I need to sharpen my pencil, switch pencils. Okay, really getting those black areas black. That's how you get that really good contrast. And then I'm continuing to adjust my drawing as I go here. Okay, I need a blending stump. Okay, so when we do our project, we're actually going to be doing the first one on a gray charcoal paper. Usually we'll have you practice on it in a typical classroom setting, but since we didn't give you that paper because it was just like too many things to think of when we were giving out supplies, we're just practicing on printer paper. So it's a little more trickier on this printer paper. I'm not used to shading and working on printer paper either. But your project will be a gray tone paper, which means that if you need to get white, you're going to have to add white to your paper. Which I wish I could, I should have demonstrated that on this, but I don't know. Okay, so for this next project, I really, you know, advise you guys to post to the Padlet so I can provide you with some feedback so that you get a decent grade on the drawing. This needs to come down. Okay, I think that happened a lot with the perspective. Like if you would have showed me, I could have said, oh, please fix that before you turn it in. Okay, so I've added value everywhere. I can now come in, and if I need to adjust anything, I can go with my eraser and I can adjust. I can add in more values with my charcoal if I need to. Make things darker, make things lighter. I can refine things. If something's really hard to read, I'll go back in and crispen it up and do all that. Like this shape is not correct, but I can fix it. Okay, let's see, this thing is getting distracted. Okay, so this is what I have so far on here. And so once I have this kind of to an area where it's starting to read like drapery, I can now come back in and say, okay, I'm looking at my photo on the screen. Wow, this definitely needs to go darker. So I'm going to go ahead and push my values a little bit more right there. And okay, what else looks a little strange? This little thing needs to go a little bit wider. It's a little bit off on my drawing. So now I have this comparison. I have this drawing started. Where can I go in and adjust? Okay. Questions? Anyone else look like this? I'm a mess.